Family Violence, Chapter 10, Abused and Abusive Partners in Understudied Populations, including cross-cultural, immigrant, ethnic, and racial, rural, same-sex, and military groups. This is a narrated version of this PowerPoint. Issues the textbook discusses: cross-cultural intimate partner violence. Violence against women stretches across the globe and has existed throughout history. Barnett, page 470. Recognition of the problem is not universal. Lack of economic support strongly correlated to male intimate partner violence. Immigrant status is associated with male assaultiveness, and alcohol is highly associated with family violence. Issues discussed by your textbook: chaos generated by civil wars, civil unrest inflates the level of violence. Pro-violence attitudes related to male partner violence. Lack of legal protection permits male partner violence. Gender equality plays a major role. Women are as likely or as more likely than men to believe the wife beating is justified. Other issues discussed by your textbook include fundamentalist dogma across different religions appear to be at the core of a large share of violence against women. The mental model of the good wife and the good daughter may help explain the acceptance of male violence in many South Asian countries. Social role theory explains all cross-cultural data. Issues related to prevalence of husband-to-wife partner violence in Africa discussed by your textbook include broad range of female behaviors cited as justification for violence and intergenerational violence created as a result of witnessing violence. Issues related to Asia include women lack the most basic rights concerning their own bodies in many Asian countries, Korea power structure and partner violence, Korea patriarchal husbands, India dowry murders, and Nepal attitudes towards women seem medieval. Southern Asian poverty contributes to violence, Bangladesh acid throwing, China jealousy, Hong Kong Chinese definition of IPV, Vietnam attitudes towards gender, Australia, New Zealand, and Pacific Islanders' risk of partner violence is increased as a result of marginalization in immigrant groups in those countries. Issues discussed in your textbook related to Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Tajikistan. Treatment and attitudes towards women are affected by fundamentalist Muslim beliefs. In Afghanistan, we discussed the Taliban. Issues discussed in the Middle East in your textbook include human rights abuses against women are rampant, honor societies, Egypt wife beating the result of cultural tradition that beating is justified, Israel pro-violent attitudes prevalent, Palestine strong approval of wife beating by both men 60.1% and women 1.8%. Health professional Coliseum is the conspiracy of silence about violence against women. European issues discussed in your textbook include efforts and responses to intimate partner violence across European continent lagged behind the United States. Issues discussed about Russia: little research on male to female partner violence. Risk factors include alcoholism and male partner's exposure to his father's physical abuse of his mother. Issues discussed related to Latin America: patriarchal practices and machoism are strong contributors to male-female violence. Mexican pregnant women, Mexicans' social tie not supportive of foster mothers' victimization. Issues related to North America discussed in your textbook include the United States, Canada, and Greenland have recognized male-to-female intimate partner violence as a social problem. Immigrant and ethnic racial intimate partner violence. Issues discussed in your textbook include women's decisions about partner abuse are filtered through cultural lens. Immigrant understanding world view is key, including its relationship to collectivism or individualism. Ethnic and racial minorities, laws affecting immigrant women, including cultural insensitivity in the law, and prevalence of intimate partner violence among racial ethnic groups. Distinctive features of immigrant and minority intimate partner violence include African Americans, economic distress in residency in socially disadvantaged neighborhoods are key. Arab Americans, patriarchal beliefs. Native American Indians, historical racism affects aspects of their lives and limited access to services. Asian Americans, strong cultural beliefs, may not see partners' violence as abusive. Haitian immigrants, experiences in witnessing acts of violence affects incidents of intimate partner violence, and wife beating is normal and occurs openly. Latinas face many barriers, including disclosure, language, fear of deportation, and poverty. Other issues your textbook discusses related to immigrant and ethnic racial intimate partner violence include disclosure patterns, trait comparisons, including gender trait comparisons and differences among Latina partner violence offenders, immigrant and ethnic batterers, motives for intimate partner violence, including motives for female-to-male IPV, and motives for African American female-to-male FMIPV. Other issues discussed in your textbook include differences in attitudes towards the criminal justice system, including calling the police and police behavior, consequences of male-to-female intimate partner violence, including health problems, mental health problems, African Americans, Hispanics, and other races, white, African Americans, and Latinas versus non-Latinas. Other issues discussed include social support for Asian women and Latinas, and differences in leave stay decisions among African American women, Vietnamese women, and Mexican American women. Rural male to female intimate partner violence. Issues discussed in your textbook include law enforcement, severe disadvantage faced by women, distances, good old boy network, and anti-women, anti-victim criminal justice system. Male to female intimate partner violence, including designed as an intimate terrorism. Socio-demographic comparisons, including socio-demographic profiles similar to urban women except for age, help seeking and services available, including help seeking and coping strategies. Same-sex intimate partner violence, SSIPV. Issues discussed by your textbook include same-sex IPV definitions, legal definitions, protective orders, the genesis of homosexuality and the causes of violence, estimating the prevalence and incidence of same-sex IPV, including issues related to measurement and prevalence of same-sex IPV. Official reports, estimates of same-sex IPV, reporting disclosure same-sex IPV, and crimes. Partner violence, including lesbian and public attitudes, attitudes of the public toward same-sex partner abuse, and sexual orientation and faith leaders. Individual traits of homosexual differences include dynamics of abusive lesbian relationships. Consequences of same-sex intimate partner violence include responses of same-sex victims and leaving among lesbian women. The military and intimate partner violence. Topics discussed in your textbook include IPV is similar to and different from those found in non-military communities. Differences center around the following: post-traumatic stress disorder, relationship between PTSD and IPV, categorizing IPV offenders, responses to IPV, and in the capacity to institute prevention measures. That ends this narrated version of this